Welcome to another edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline. Thanks for watching us on Verizon 32. That's everywhere in the Pittsburgh area, from the city of Pittsburgh all the way out. Hearing from some reports from Cranberry, Wexford, Sewickley, even Bethel Park. Comcast 7 only in Bethel Park. That's how Comcast does it. We appreciate all the people watching our show. And I have a new world record for our Pittsburgh Sportsline Facebook. 3,650 likes, so thank you for boosting us up.
That's
there.
a new all-time high.
It's a world record. Okay,
Everyone from moving forward will be.
Hold it, you guys are too educated here. Some people are first-time viewers. If you are, I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. We got Chip, the Prophet Hayner, Smoking Jim Frazier, Zach Brenner, and this is another record. Everybody was here on time. You could see a little sliver of the moon. The sky was clear. Everything lined up. Everybody's here for Pittsburgh Sportsline. And we start with what's on our mind, and we're going to start doing that right now. Zach Brenner, what's on your mind?
There's Zach Brenner. What's on my mind, Al Levine, the talking machine? Well, Chip Hayner's favorite goaltender last night got his 300th career victory, Marc-Andre Fleury. And to commemorate that, the folks at Waterfront Embroidery dropped me off a
Where's
hat today.
that located?
Down in West Homestead. Marc-Andre Fleury, number 29, your Pittsburgh Penguins.
Hey, can I see that a second?
Probably the best goalie in the franchise's history, you know. Tom Barrasso was my favorite until Marc-Andre Fleury came along, and ever since then it's been the new 2-9er, not the old 2-9er.
I didn't know they made them that big.
This is fitted. If I get a haircut, it'll slip down a little.
So, like I said, last night in a shootout, comeback victory for the Pittsburgh Penguins, Marc-Andre Fleury racked up his 300th career victory, and he is, I believe, Chip Hayner, the youngest goalie to ever do so.
Don't believe the youngest. He certainly is the youngest in Penguins. I believe there was two others, and their names escape me at the moment.
Yeah, he's not the youngest.
There probably was.
He's not the youngest in the NHL. But.
And somebody else, but
it's an amazing accomplishment. Hats off to him.
It is an amazing accomplishment, and the hope is.
I can't take that.
Hey, man, hey, whoa. Levine, you're touching up the. you're coming up the works. That's a commemorative edition.
How's it look?
That's a Mitchell and that's commemorative.
Okay, wait. Okay.
That looks great.
Here you go.
The last thing that's on my mind is this is a hat, Levine, that we can't wait for you to wear. It's the Pittsburgh Gladiators.
We're still negotiating on that right now. Sorry.
Levine's still in negotiations, but
the CBA is not dry yet.
I'm not. I'm assistant head football coach of that organization, and I look forward to recruiting and plugging in some Western PA kids that maybe aren't so fortunate to go to Cal U after this season. But that's neither here nor there. I love public access TV. Shout out to Dave Cable, Devin Shea in the control room. We got George, the Ghost, and the Tiger Kiger in here in the studio with us tonight. It's going to be a great show, folks. Shout out to Marc-Andre Fleury again, and that's what's on my mind.
Boy, when you don't eat right, we hear Marc-Andre Fleury about 6 times. That's the new 2-9er. The new 2-9er.
You like that?
Well, Smoking Jim doesn't know about the old 2-9er.
I think he does because of the Blue Line Grill. Look at this.
Ask him a question
Achieving
about
greatness is coming up.
it. Ask him about that.
I'm all about achieving greatness.
All right. We're going to go to Smoking Jim Frazier. Let's find out what's really on your mind.
Hey, thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green, you got to see Levine. Nice option.
Yeah, Beckham
right
hands.
there. All right. Former Heisman Trophy winner Steve Owens from Oklahoma shared the same race. But, hey, what's on my mind is the end of an era. And I've seen it coming a couple of years ago, and we got sign language going on over here. But I seen it coming on a few years ago, and I'm not sure if this guy who had a Hall of Fame career will ever make the Hall of Fame. I don't think it's
I can't wait any
possible.
longer. Tell me his name.
But the end of an era, he went 2 of 8 and threw 3 interceptions last night, Michael Vick. And he's a shot quarterback. And I tell you what, this is a guy who was as exciting a college player and an NFL player as you ever want to see. And if you kind of analyze his statistics, he made the Pro Bowl 4 times. He's thrown for, I believe, over 100 and close to 130 touchdowns and only 88 interceptions. But he's rushed for nearly 6,000 yards, which no quarterback's ever done that. If you throw those things in, he's had Hall of Fame statistics, but he was not a Hall of Fame quarterback. But when this guy got out of prison, and McNabb was the quarterback for Philadelphia and encouraged Philadelphia to sign him because I don't believe nobody else would have signed him. And when McNabb got hurt late in that season, I believe the 2009 season, and Vic came in, looked good, and he had a great 2010 season. But somewhere along the line in 2011, I think he lost his heart for the football game. I don't know if it was too many hits, accumulation of too many hits, or getting old, or losing his focus, or whatever. But Andy Reid got fired after that, and when he couldn't pull the trigger in the coach there now, Chip Kelly's offense.
Rex Ryan.
Well, Chip Kelly,
Yeah,
for
Philly.
Philly.
Oh, okay.
When he couldn't pull the trigger in that offense, I knew he was done. Because that was an offense that was tailor-made for an athlete like Michael Vick, and now he's with the Jets, and he's between him and Geno Smith, you may get the worst tandem of quarterbacking in NFL history.
Well, wasn't Tony Dungy the one that was instrumental in getting Michael Vick?
Well,
More so than Donovan McNabb?
Well, Tony Dungy was instrumental in pushing for, because he was Michael's mentor when Michael was in jail, and bringing the religious aspect to it. But Donovan McNabb stuck out his neck, because if Andy Reid would not have signed him, if Donovan McNabb didn't co-sign it, and that ended up getting McNabb cut because Vic ended up beating him out. But that's what's on my mind.
Thanks, Smoking Tim.
So, to clarify for the folks that just watched this at home, you're trying to say that Michael Vick deserves to be in the Hall of Fame statistically, or his career?
Well, he has the numbers to get into the Hall of Fame, but he was not a Hall of Fame quarterback, so he won't get in.
Okay.
Okay, glad we clarified that on a clarification.
Vinny Testaverde also has the numbers to get in the Hall of Fame, but he'll never get
He
in.
played 30 years, though.
Yeah.
I think Vinny's more
The only
deserving.
problem
He played 30
with
years.
both of those quarterbacks, the only problem with both of them is, to be considered Hall of Fame caliber, you've got to win something. And
No.
neither of them have never won anything.
No, you
So,
don't.
We'll argue about that on an open discussion. How's that? Since this could be a great debate.
You got it, Levine.
Could be.
Definitely.
Fran Tarkenton.
Not on those guys, but I'm talking
Warren
about some
Moon
other
never
guys.
won anything. Fran Tarkenton never won anything.
All right, let's get the Chip. Chip, what's on your mind?
What's on my mind? Well, I'm once again, here I sit, another disappointed Pitt fan. And, even though Pitt...
We're one game away from the bowl.
Yeah, they were one game away from being mediocre. Let's pull for that.
We gotta beat the U.
XYZ.
We gotta beat the U.
And that's the rallying cry for the Pitt Panthers. Let's be mediocre. That's something to strive for. And, I can't get behind a team that doesn't want to do anything but be boring. If they would have played any other team than Syracuse last week, like maybe even Central Valley, I think they may have lost that game. But at least they took the sting out of the basketball collapse for us early. They lost their second or third game of the year. Now, they won last night, playing San Diego State tonight over in the Maui Invitational. But, you don't want to get your hopes up too high. Usually they pay a bunch of cream puffs. They start out 13-0. And remember last year, they were undefeated for quite some time. They didn't even make it to the top 35, let alone the top 25. But, I just wish that the university would start showing some interest in athletics. And I think really where the problem begins and ends is with the athletic director. And I think what they need to do, make him go away and bring in somebody with some fresh ideas and a more positive outlook. And, Paul Christ, you got 1 year, buddy. You don't do it next year, sayonara. That's what's on my mind.
Wow.
I think he could be gone this year.
Well, they might beat the U. I mean, that's a long shot.
I think even if we beat the U, he still could be gone.
We'll get in a bowl again for what, 7
Yeah,
straight
he gets
years?
15 more practices.
Yeah.
Well,
He
that is the
needs
bowl.
more practice.
That is the bowl
Because-
game. Playing in Miami
because
is
they
their
can't
bowl
even
game.
snap the ball without
Well, that's-
movement.
We'll get back to that.
Yeah,
but
we'll
I don't
get
want
back.
to discredit Connor or Tyler Boyd's season.
No, those two are great young athletes, and I feel bad for
But
them.
it is a team sport, and so they're two great guys. So that's
I
all
feel
good
bad
stuff.
for them. I wish they could, get more out of their college careers.
What's on your mind, Levine?
Man, I got a lot on my mind, but Smoking Jim first. We'll just do promos during what's on my mind because we got two guys on camera. BPTV is going to have the honor of filming this event. We've negotiated a deal with Bill Neal.
Oh, man.
Everything's looking. Oh wait, everything was looking good.
I just got a paper cut.
I don't know. I don't know if you can get that.
How many plates of fries?
There's no food involved.
Hors d'oeuvres.
Chip, you're talking about stuff that's not even possible. There's no food. But the old 2 Niners part owner of the place. So that'll be fun. So that's a good thing. Then I wanted to give a shout out to Robert Robinson. Here's the photo of him. He wrote a book, From the Ghetto to the Green. It's dedicated to his mother. And he's best friends. He's a mentor of our local media superstar who's now on 19 different shows. Smoking Jim Frazier. Did you get that? That's Rock moving.
Yeah, they got a good.
He was a
picture
great
of it
baseball
earlier.
player. Here's the title of the book. And Smoking Jim, I'm about halfway through. I really didn't get a
Is
chance
that
to
Cause
read
Country
it.
on the cover?
No. And I just want to honor his mother because on a serious note, she helped to raise 8 children. And this is what we talk about when we talk about heroes.
Beautiful mom, beautiful.
Well, not even that. She was beautiful inside, too. And
Yeah.
had a great life, as you know. So
Yeah, I enjoyed reading.
just wanted to shout that out. Then we had a great legendary guest who's also, I'll get to that in a second. We'll get the Jack Hunt, Johnny Angel. He was on our show last night. No, he didn't sing. He said he felt like he was ready to holding the mic, but he was talking from boxing to sports.
He's
to,
my soul brother.
well, you got to listen to the CarolinaBreeze.com. That's on the computer, 7 to 10 o'clock Sunday night.
www.
He has, yeah, always WW. And we're going to have a guest next week who, if you want to get another close-up, Tiger, I'm working you hard on this, but this is the Soul Pit. We're going to have a special guest who's very well known in the city of Pittsburgh and her Soul Pit Quarterly magazine. She's one of actually my heroes that I've copied a lot of the stuff I do with our media out there. So it's all good stuff. This is like a live show, and we have people coming in. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. We got some photographer from, I heard, the Tribune Review. So we'll give a shout out to them. They're going to do a great article on Pittsburgh Sportsline. Al Levine, the talking machine. Chip the Prophet Hayner. Smoking Jim Frazier and Zach Brenner. So they got our names because I know the reporter's writing all this down. Oops, he missed it. I'll have to give him a card. Just happened to have one.
Who knew?
We didn't get your name. And as I was doing my promotions, we'll be at, oh man, here's another thing. Now make sure you get a nice close-up of this one. This is Pittsburgh Sportsline at Atria's PNC Park. Next Monday, Smoking Jim, Zach Brenner. I don't want to argue about December 1st. Is upon us. It's actually going to be Monday. And Tiger, I don't know if you can pull in where there's something called a Big Mouth Burger, because the owner, John
Can't wait to have
Gagetta,
it.
wanted to name a burger after me. It's a Build-A-Burger, and my boys are too wimpy down there to eat anything like it.
I'm going to eat it.
Chip would eat something like it because,
Probably 2.
yeah, well, that's how Chip is. This is what we do. We're doing some of our promotions here. What's on my mind is it's great to see Marc-Andre Fleury with 300. I love what they put on the Penguin site because they had that 300, and I posted it before Zach Brenner, so I was proud of that. That was a key thing. If I can beat him because he's all over it, because I got this dumb phone and it's ridiculous. I'm trying to text my son in the Navy who wants to know if he can come home on the 19th by bus or airplane, so we're negotiating online. Sorry for the interruptions here, fellas, but that's what we're doing. And then, let's see, we got our next segment is we're going to go right to Fiction and Fact with Smoking Jim's Almanac.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And I tell you what, Fiction and Fact, we're going back to 2002, November 10th, and we were just going to continue. It's probably the greatest football game ever been to. I always say, I've had season tickets to the Steelers since I was 4 years old. And there's only been 2 players that I can remember that was booed, opposition players that were booed before the game and cheered by the end of the game. That's how much respect that they got. Pittsburgh Steelers had a great day in the first 3 quarters. Tommy Maddox was on fire. He set a Steeler then record of 473 yards, I believe. Amos Zaraway was over 130 yards rushing. Steelers built up a 35-point, and they were winning the game 35-17. And then Michael Vick totally took over the football game, running, passing. He was unstoppable. By the end of the game, he was actually being cheered by the Steeler fans. The game went into overtime, and it finished 35-35. So
is that a tie?
Yeah, that was a tie. That was a tie.
I'm observing.
Clarification.
So that was maybe one of the greatest games ever at Heinz Field. One of the great moments at Heinz Field. And the 2 guys that was cheered, that was booed prior, one was Michael Vick, and the other one was Deion Sanders.
Whoa. We got a caller coming in right now, guys. Reporter, you might want to stay on this one. Hello, caller. Do you want to say your name?
Al Oliver here.
Al Oliver, you've been one of my heroes. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. And we're friends on LinkedIn also. And you're also friends with Diane Daniels, who set this all up, my friend.
Right. And how long have you been in Pittsburgh?
I took my first breath here a long, long time ago. I'm not as old as you. I did have a few of your baseball cards, brother.
Hey, I like it.
And I have another friend of yours who you've called in on Steel City Sports World. His name's Smoking Jim Frazier.
Okay.
And
Okay.
he's friends with another buddy of yours, because you know how Pittsburgh is. Claudio's a guest of our show, Claudio Rosano. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah, matter of fact, I'm on my way to Pittsburgh tomorrow morning.
And that's why I told Diane to have you call. Could you tell us about that?
Yeah, matter of fact, it's ironic because, tonight, I'm at my grandson's basketball game. They have a scrimmage.
Okay.
And I always put my alert on my phone so I wouldn't forget because, you get caught up in these basketball games and temporary amnesia set in.
I understand. My dad was a basketball referee, and I followed him around everywhere, so I know.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you hear me well enough, right?
Yes,
Good.
definitely. I'm glad you had the time and you had the alarm set, too, because I don't even know how to do that on my phone.
Well, that's about the only thing I can do.
You're more advanced than me, Al.
I can text and I can email. That's pretty much it.
Well, those are 2 good things.
Yes, I can do those.
Hey, now tell me about your book. What's the story with this book with Al Scoop Oliver?
Well, basically, it's a book that I decided to write, probably because of this guy had saw me on his spiritual channel, and he said, you know what, this guy's life story is not better than his baseball career. And so he called me and asked me if I'd be interested in doing a story of my life. And I thought about it for a week, and then all of a sudden I said, well, yeah, let's go for it. Because a lot of times people might know of Al Oliver, but they don't know Al Oliver.
Great point, Al. Great point.
So that was a determining factor for me to write the book. Because a lot of people had no clue of the things I've gone through in my life. And they said, wow.
Yeah, well, I can only imagine. I'd love to read the book. What's the title of the book? Can you tell us that?
Yes, I can. The title of the book is Life's a Hit, Don't Strike Out, the Al Oliver story.
That is just unbelievable. It sounds great. Can you tease us with a little bit about your life?
Yes.
Maybe a couple highlights that you could tell us, or a low light, or...
Are we on the air yet?
Yeah, we're on the air.
We're on the air, okay.
We talk like we're just in the room together. That's how we run this show. We're not like the normal sports guys. We're not cookie cutter guys.
Yeah, there's three other gentlemen sitting next to
Yeah,
me.
I actually have three of my co-hosts here. We're on air on TV, Al. I'm sorry to be remiss on that, but I got Smoking Jim Frazier. I got Chip the Prophet Hayner. I got Little Z, Zach Brenner, with me, and I'm Al Levine, the Talking Machine.
Man, I tell you what now, those are some serious names there, man. Yeah.
Hey, and I'm proud to be talking to Al Scoop Oliver. Right?
Yeah.
Here, Chip wants to say something to you.
Hi, Al. My name's Chip Hayner. I'm a lifelong Pittsburgher, and I watched you roam the outfield and play first base for my Buccos. And my favorite season was the 71 season, and I just think it's an injustice that two of your outfield mates are in the Hall of Fame and you're not.
Right. Well, and deservedly so. And, the Hall of Fame, as far as I'm concerned, that's something that I definitely throw in the back burner. And really, I really something to talk about it because it's really out of my hands. But, the more and more I thought about it, say 10, 15 years ago, it would have been great, that if I could have joined those guys, because that would have made that outfield complete.
Right.
And, but, all my friends and all my family members, they still swimming down that one day I'm going to go. But, I don't think that I'm going to go. And I'm not really concerned about it because I've been able to move on, and I know what I've done, and I feel good about myself, and I was the best baseball player that I possibly could be.
Hey, Al, we have to co-sign that with you. And last year, we tried to get you in the Hall of Fame with a lot of emails and other support, just so you know. We're on that bandwagon with you there, brother.
And that I really appreciate. And, just like, summed up my career, I can honestly say that I was the best player that I was allowed to be, because I had a lot of gas left in the tank,
right.
At the end of my career. But baseball collusion came in and just shut me down. But the reason why, getting back to the book,
yeah,
I think it's very important for people to read the book. Because I think once the book is read, people will see, number one, why I'm not in the Hall of Fame, or why I received very few votes, because it tells my life story. And I think that early in my career, people had no clue of where I was coming from. Here I was, this young, confident guy, self-assuring.
Right.
And being born and raised in Portsmouth, Ohio, we all were like that because our parents made us feel good about ourselves. And so I just carried that positive attitude all the way through life, even up until today. And I think it was a situation where there were a lot of times that people misunderstood, and some wanted to misunderstand because I was always very truthful in what I was saying. I always spoke from my heart. Because, when I was growing up, if you lied, you got whipped. And so
yeah, we don't want to get into all that whipping right now, Al, because times have changed.
That's right. Time has changed.
But you're right about the honesty, Al. You were very blunt, and you could hit anybody. That was part of the problem.
And you're right. And you would think that, people in the news media would, if they ask you a question, you would want that player to be honest with you. But evidently they didn't want that. And, I was talking to Roberto Clemente Jr. not too long ago, and he had talked to his mom years ago, and she had saw a lot of similarities in myself and Roberto as far as personality is concerned.
Sure.
And for the same reason, Roberto was kind of misunderstood, but this guy was a super guy, and he was for real. He was honest.
Right.
But they just wasn't ready for that at that particular time.
Well, you know what? You guys come a generation too soon. If you were around now, you'd be in the media, social media, you'd be everywhere just because of how honest and refreshing you are.
And having fun.
Whoa.
And that's what I thought it was. When they asked me the questions, I always got along, well with the news media. I'd be the last one there in the clubhouse if need be, just to, answer the questions. I enjoyed the news media.
Well, I noticed you like to talk, Al. I don't know if that's true.
Well, I think in my case, like they say, I'm one of those guys, if you ask me a question, then I will give you an answer. But other than that, I'm kind of laid back
Sure.
and very quiet, which surprises a lot of people. It's kind of like if you ask me a question, I'm turned on.
Right. Hey, I want to turn it on for you right now. I have a question that some people don't even know of this generation, but I was proud to be a Pirate fan and see all 9 players were black players. And that was the first time in history in baseball. And a lot of people don't know that, so I wanted to put that out there to give them a little reason on why they should find out more about your life.
Exactly.
And that wasn't a thing that went over lightly either throughout all the communities, as you know.
Right, and I heard about that later, but at the time I didn't. And I know even in my book, I talk about the relationships with people from different walks of life and from different races. And my dad was born in Montgomery, Alabama, and Dad never talked about race. And he allowed me to go out into the world to find out for myself.
Right.
And I did, and I found out that that we all come here the same way. We all want to leave here the same way, and the sooner we realize that, the better off we all will be. And so I've carried that throughout my life, and I've never had any problems, with people of different races. I've had no issues in talking about it because I think we need to talk more about it and learn more about each other. Because I think that, in my travels and speaking, I talk about this, and we're all from different cultures. And if you're not used to being around a different, a certain culture, then you don't know about them.
And that's why I wanted to bring that to the table, because I've heard you talk before, Al, and I'm proud that you were a Pirate and that you can handle these situations with class too. So I do really appreciate it.
That. Well, I would add all to my mother and father. I tell people I didn't have them for a long time, but I had them long enough.
Now,
So
that's
I'm
all
looking forward to come back to Pittsburgh too. I always enjoy coming back to Pittsburgh. And
well, you know what? I'm going to give you a special invite. You got to come to our show that we film on Monday nights. We're going to be doing a show at PNC Park, Atria's place, sometime maybe in the spring. If you ever get back to Pittsburgh, we'd love to have you on the show, meet you in person, and it'll be at the PNC Park right there. So,
that'd be great.
That would be an awesome setup. I'm not afraid to ask, so you're on our waiting list. You just tell me. You can call me anytime or, whatever. We're friends on LinkedIn and Facebook and everything else. So
okay.
And you do that. But I do want you to tell people right now where they can see you on Saturday, right? That's the 29th. Please do that.
Okay. On the 29th, which is Saturday, from 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock, I will be at Your Own Benefits Restaurant. And I will be signing from 4 to 6.
Okay.
And, of course, I have no problem personalizing my the book. The book is $25.
You know I was going to ask that, so get your money ready. He'll sign those books all day long between 4 and 6 p.m., right?
Right. On that Saturday, the 29th, I'll be there for a couple hours, and, it's just going to be a great time. I enjoy coming back to Pittsburgh. The fans have treated me great, and it's almost like sometimes I don't want to leave Pittsburgh. I come back to Pittsburgh, and believe it or not, as confident and as positive as I am, Pittsburghers make me feel very humble.
That's nice to hear you say that. You're welcome back here anytime. We appreciate how you played. I like how you handle yourself, especially on this interview. That first 5 minutes, you didn't know we were live, so we didn't say anything embarrassing, so I'm glad of that.
Hey, I'm going to tell you what, I think you guys did that on purpose.
No, not at all. That's how laid back we are. How's that for you, Al? Hey, we got one. Chip wants to ask you one more question here.
Al, I'm the baseball fanatic here, and I've been a baseball lover all my life. And I think that, Danny Murtaugh was one of the most underrated managers in baseball history. And, you think of the fact that he actually took 2 teams to a world championship. What was your opinion of Danny Murtaugh as a manager?
First of all, Danny was a great manager. Number one, he allowed us to play. He posted the lineup, and we took the field. And the only way that we wouldn't play is if we played our way out of the lineup. And I'll be honest with you, I was watching the World Series this year, and all of a sudden they're talking about Bruce Bochy as a Hall of Fame manager, which I had no problem with that. But then when you look back at Danny Murtaugh, who won 2 World Series in '60 and in '71, 2 World Series that the Pirates were not supposed to win. And the fact of the matter is, he was a winning manager, and I think that he needs to be looked upon and have some strong consideration as far as a Hall of Fame manager, in my opinion. And the thing I liked about him was that he would take a nap for 7 innings, he would wake up and bring in Dave Justy, another Pirate win.
Hey, one more question. I got to ask you, how was he doing with all that chew in his mouth? Did he really spit directly on guys' shoes and shirts to get their attention? Please tell me now. This is an Al Levine, the talking machine question of the night.
Hey, everything you've heard about him spit tobacco is true.
Okay, thank you.
And he got me one night, and I usually don't miss nothing.
Right.
But he got me at a moment where I wasn't looking or expecting, and I had to look down, and there it was. He got me.
Did he really?
He was the best at that.
Well, you know what? I'll bet you weren't holding your bat, because if you saw it coming, I know you would hit it out of the dugout.
Hey,
all right? I know that, Al.
I like that.
You can use that line, too, someday, all right?
Especially if it was in the strike zone.
Well, even if it wasn't, if you thought you could get a hit and win a game, I know you would have hit it, all right? Don't tell me that. I know you're a competitor.
Yeah, you got that right.
I saw enough of you, that's for sure.
In closing, Al, I do agree with you. I think Danny Murtaugh should be in the Hall of Fame. I thought he was an amazing manager, and glad he brought 2 championships to the city.
Right.
Definitely.
And I think, and one last thing about Danny, he knew exactly when to rest a player. We had players who wouldn't play every day.
Right.
But he knew when to set a player down for one game, and every time that player would come back and go on a hitting streak. It was amazing how he knew his players.
Yes, he did. That shows a great judge of talent there for sure.
Exactly.
That's great stuff.
And you don't see that normally. Nowadays, they got all these statistics and everything else, and they can't pitch more than 10 pitches if they're a reliever, and 70 pitches, 80, other things like that. So
I just sit back and laugh at it.
Yeah. Well, I know you're definitely old school and one of our heroes here, and can't wait to meet you in person. Might stop down there at Jerome Bettis' Grill on Saturday between 4 and 6 to see you there, Al. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule and a basketball game, too. Appreciate it.
Right. Well, you guys take care and tell the people in Pittsburgh I'm on my way.
All right. We will do that, and this will be broadcast. We have a Facebook page, and we also have this archived on YouTube. So they'll be able to see this, and we'll put this up on air. It's on TV right now all through the Pittsburgh area. So thanks, Al.
Okay, well, you guys take care.
You too.
Thanks, Al.
All right. Okay, you're welcome.
Bye-bye. See you soon.
All right, bye. All right.
Thank you. Caller, you want to state your name? Oh, we lost
That was
him.
the dial tone.
Hey,
lost 'em.
Saturday, maybe we can split one of them 36-ounce Jerome Bettis steaks.
Okay. Hey, caller, I think I might know who you are, champ. You want to say your name?
It's Rod Selka. What's up, Al?
Lightning Rod!
All right. My man, I keep getting in trouble. Just last night, I had to argue with a ring card girl that you won every round. And you shouldn't have a rematch. Okay? That's what's going on. And it was with Sindel. So, what can I say? She supports Iron Mike Productions. Thanks to Iron Mike Productions for putting the fights together. And a special thanks to Mike Tyson for talking to Lightning Rod Sulka after his great win. I respect him coming to you.
Now that we're 2-0 versus Iron Mike Productions in Pittsburgh.
And that's your boy, Zach. How are you doing there, champ?
I'm doing good. Just sitting at home.
That's great. What do you got, your daughter on your knee there all dressed up again?
She's running around with a bottle right here.
All right, she does have an eye for the camera. Every time a camera's clicking, she's looking there.
Just like her daddy.
Wow. Hey, what's on your mind? You know we do that on our show. We got to ask you what's on your mind, Rod.
Nothing, man. I'm just relaxing now. I'm going to take a little bit of time off and hopefully end up in a big fight here first quarter next year. Hopefully back on Showtime again.
That sounds great.
Tomorrow, I guess there's some amateur boxing fights, the Junior Olympics in Carrick, and then you got
MMA.
the MMA fights out at South Point. I'm going out. I'm going to go out to the MMA fights and check Hutchinson out. He's fighting. So I've never been to a professional MMA fight.
You're kidding. This is your first time. You going to wear your hoodie so we won't know who you are?
Exactly.
Okay. I'll know who you are because I've seen that hoodie before. It's getting a little ragged there, my friend.
I know.
And keep putting those Tom Cruise sunglasses on. They'll never figure out who you are. I'm not telling them. No, it'll be great to see you tomorrow night at the MMA fights, too. It's something else. Really special to see that.
Yeah, did you guys have I didn't really get to see you after the fight. I don't really remember. I know I saw you, but I didn't really get to talk to anybody.
You were on cloud nine, my friend.
That was a good fight, you know what I mean? I watched it since then, and I really haven't heard from anybody other than, just friends and stuff, so I really don't know what people were saying, or what, like you were saying that the ring card girl or whatever was saying something. I really don't know what people's...
Well, here's what I'm getting in the general public here. People that aren't friends of either one of you two, they think it's a great fight. They thought you won the fight, with no doubt.
Convincingly.
Right.
So, I mean, that's a general consensus. The people that, Monty's a warrior just like you are. You two guys, if I had a DNA analysis of all the blood on Ernie Sharif's shirt, the referee, and it was 90% Monty's blood. So I'm on the record as saying that, just so to clarify a couple things, Rod. You know my humor, so.
Yeah, I was cut over the left eye bit. I mean, the bleeding didn't really bother me as much as the swelling. My right eye was swelled up pretty good in the fight. It was kind of like causing me not to have very good vision out of the sides, but it was that kind of a fight. You know what I mean?
Well, you know yourself going against a brawler, and you being a boxer who's not afraid to brawl. That was one of the surprises with the people that I was around. Were surprised by some of the power and the tactics you had.
Well, forget the tactics. Let's talk about the hand speed.
Well,
4 or 5.
lightning,
Pop, 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 pop.
hence lightning. Lightning's pretty fast. Would you say, Lightning Rod Sulka?
Yeah, I should have. In reality, I kind of fought a little bit. I mean, it was just very fan-friendly that I stayed and fought that much, but if I would have not sat in front of him more and just threw maybe each round 3 or 4 more of those 5-piece combinations, I could have made life a lot easier. on myself.
Hold it. You threw almost 800 punches, my friend.
No, that's a lie. I threw over 1,000. I counted punches.
I told people that. I said the official statistics had to be wrong. Hey, Rod, thanks for confirming it. How many do you think you threw?
I mean, I don't know. I counted the first round I threw 109, and the sixth round I threw 116. So,
And if you multiply that times 10, folks, because he was throwing the same every round.
They weren't counting. They must not have been counting like a lot of those. I don't know what they were doing up there, but I mean, even like you got Raul Marquez and Sean O'Grady commentating, and those guys are both world champions, and they're sitting there talking about how crazy the pace is. And 80 punches a round isn't a crazy pace.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's a good pace. I mean, that's a lot of punches, but it's not a crazy pace. Like 100 punches a round is a crazy pace, and that's what we were doing. I don't know what Monty was throwing, but I know he was throwing a decent amount too. But I know I threw way more than 797 punches, I can tell you that.
Well, that's what I thought seeing it, because you were nonstop. And the reason I wanted to watch the YouTube fight when they broadcast it again right away, the whole fight, is just the announcers saying in the early round they don't know if you could keep that pace up. Then the third round, they're saying they still didn't know if you could do it. By the fifth round, they thought you could do it because you never stopped. By the end of the fight, they were saying you kept up this pace, and it looked like you could go more.
Yeah,
So,
I wasn't, honest to God, I wasn't tired at all.
I thought so. I mean,
I really wasn't. I was so relaxed. I was just relaxed. Like, I wasn't fighting myself at all. You know what I mean? Like, everything was just relaxed. And that when I'm going backwards, I have somebody coming at me like that. That's when I'm the most relaxed. So, like, I could have fought all day like that.
And one thing that I did notice that you talked about up at camp, this is the first time that you really had a size advantage over anybody that you boxed. And I believe you took advantage of that almost every chance that you could, if not more, if that's possible.
Yeah, I mean, he was still coming forward, but I could turn him and move him and push him kind of where you know what I mean, kind of where I wanted. And then if he got in close, I could hold him, and, you know, there was nothing. I was definitely the bigger, stronger guy. I mean, he's the guy that comes forward, but I wanted him to come forward. I didn't want to have to be the one coming forward.
Hey, Rod, did you get hurt at all throughout the fight?
Not at all, man. I'll tell you what, the surprising thing for me was the next day, my whole body felt great. I felt fantastic the next day, all except obviously my face and stuff like that was sore.
That's why we didn't ask you to come on the air, because you're a champ and you look great at Ivy Pittsburgh, but it was sort of dark and loud there, and, you know, you look great there. So
we were butting heads a lot. We were butting heads every round, like at least a couple.
You were butting heads before the fight too.
Yeah.
More so Monty than Ron.
well, I don't even want to say some elbows were getting in the way too of some stuff too, but what can I say? I'm just watching the fights and enjoying it.
Hey, man, that stuff happens. And I mean, elbows are gonna hit, the heads are gonna butt, especially when you got a guy coming forward and a guy going back. You know what I mean?
Right.
Anytime I would stop and he was coming forward, it was like he'd run right into me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't. I don't think any of that was.
What did you think of the crowd, Rod? Did you notice the crowd at all? Or?
Yeah, it was a really good crowd. I was pleasantly surprised at the crowd. You know what I mean? That's probably the biggest crowd that's been in Pittsburgh since Spatafora was fighting for titles. So, yeah, it was a great crowd. The venue's awesome. This is a really nice atmosphere.
There's no doubt about it. And your performance was awesome there, champ. No smoke intended here. It was a great fight.
And Rod, I always say, you fight like a black fighter. Welcome to the club, my brother.
Get out of here, man. Get out of here.
He fights like Lightning Rod Sulka. What is this? And he's in shape. He does the leg work and groundwork and everything else, Smoking Jim. You're a little sketchy on
He's an
some of that.
honorary black man now.
Oh, man.
Watch any awards he's trying to give you, Rod, okay? He might be trying to give you some award. Be careful.
On December 13th.
This fight tomorrow?
Yeah. Be careful. Hey, when you're feeling up to it, if you want to come to one of the places where we're at, we'd love to have you on, bringing some belts and showing hardware, you know, to everybody around. So whenever you could do it, we'd appreciate it. And if you could bring your sidekick Buzz, and that's Stevie Upshur. I don't know if I want him to come with you.
He did a nice job on the in the
But
corner.
he did look good in the
He did
corner,
good,
though.
look
You know
good.
that. He was styling it there.
It's those glasses.
Yeah. He does look highly intelligent now. You know that.
He does. I told him, get some glasses and look. You don't have to be educated. You just have to appear educated.
And that's from a college degree guy that's a boxer smoking, Jim. He's highly educated. Lightning Rod Sulka.
Yes, he is.
Definitely. Well, Rod, we appreciate you calling in anytime. And I want to give a special thanks to you and Buzz for letting us come up there, letting Zach do his first ever interview of Lightning Rod Sulka before the fight. We scooped everybody in the national media and local media, so we do appreciate that. You know that.
Oh, no, that was awesome. I appreciate you guys coming up.
Definitely, and we can't wait for the next fight. I know you're going to be even more determined. This is your time. It's just great to be, hanging out with you and having you call in and talk to us too, Rod.
And Lightning Rod, you skip rope like your uncle, Sugar Ray Robinson.
Smoking Jim's trying to get the last word, and I won't let him. Hey, Rod, you have a great night. You take care, and we'll see you tomorrow night.
Okay, great. I'll see you tomorrow, guys.
Take care.
Right.
Great job, Al.
New world record for Pittsburgh Sportsline. We're in the middle of some special segments that we have. We already got Fiction and Fact. Now we get another favorite segment of mine, Chip's Trivia Time.
Oh, thank you very much, Alan. And that was two great calls back to back.
Yeah.
Al Oliver is one of my idols when I was a
Mine
child,
too.
growing up, watching him play baseball. And isn't it funny when I did my trivia research today for my segment tonight?
I can't wait.
It
Put the
happened to have
suspense.
something to do with the Baseball Hall of Fame, believe it or not. And
Wow.
yesterday, 17 names were released for new potential inductees into the Hall of Fame. And I'm not going to get into the list of the 17 that are on the list.
Just say who you
And
think's
then,
getting in.
and the next 17. But there's 34 gentlemen that will be up for voting. The votes will be disclosed on January 6th at 2 o'clock. But last year there was one ball player who missed making the Hall of Fame by 2 votes. His name is Craig Biggio. Played for the Houston Astros. He needed to get 75% of the vote to make it into the Hall of Fame. He got 74.8. I think this year he's going to get the 2 votes that he needs to get moved over. Out of all of the people that were mentioned as possible candidates for the Hall of Fame this year, 3 of the new candidates, I do believe, have a very strong chance of being first ballot Hall of Famers. And I'll kind of give you a quick rundown of who they are and what they accomplished in their careers. The first one is the big unit, Randy Johnson, left-handed pitcher. Had a career one-loss record of 303 and 166. Had 4,875 strikeouts, which put him second on the list behind Nolan Ryan. Also, he won 4 consecutive Cy Young Awards. Pretty impressive statistics. The second one, up until I started looking into his statistics, I really didn't consider him as Hall of Fame caliber. Pedro Martinez. Pedro Martinez, his career record, 219 and 100. Didn't hit the 300 mark in wins, but he did have 3,154 strikeouts. He led the league 5 times in earned run average, and he won 2 Cy Young Awards. And the third and final one I believe that should get voted in this year is John Smoltz, pitcher extraordinaire for the Atlanta Braves. He should get in as the only pitcher in Major League history to have 200 wins in his career and 150 saves. He had 213 wins and 155 losses as a starting pitcher, had 154 saves as a reliever. I think those statistics should get him into the Hall of Fame, and that's what I got for you this
You
week.
forgot Barry Bonds.
Thank you, and the steroid era still has a taint there. And that's,
Chip, of that staff that Smoltz was on, Maddox is in.
Maddox is in,
obviously.
Glavin's in.
Glavin's in.
Okay,
And
Smoltz would be the third one.
well, it should be deserving that if the other 2 are in, Smoltz.
depends on the sports
Smoltz is
writers
every
and
bit
their
as good as
opinions.
Well, it depends on their opinions, but here's what the thing is. Smoltz, hurt his career as a starting pitcher by doing what was best for the team and becoming a reliever. And, he excelled at that. Went to the point where he actually led the league in saves. So, I mean, when you consider both sets of statistics as a starter and a reliever, I think that's what puts him over the top.
Yeah.
No Barry Bonds?
Not at this point in time.
Sorry, Smoking Jim.
He just thought it was clear.
Everybody.
It's not. It isn't. That's part of the problem, boys.
I didn't want to start that debate.
We're not going to go there.
Didn't want to start that debate tonight. I wanted to
Yeah.
recognize the deserving gentlemen that were
Yeah, and they will get in.
being voted on
There's
this
people
year.
going to get in. You're talking about somebody who's not right now. So. And we got Z time coming up. We only have about 8 minutes to go, so
So I got the whole 8 minutes.
Z, you got 19 seconds.
14.
I'm going to
right.
wait till after the 19 seconds to start.
That's okay. We'll have a moment of silence for Zach Brenner.
Now, I got to give a shout out to Lloyd and the guys over in Squirrel Hill Engine Company 18 for the city of Pittsburgh's finest. The city has some of the greatest firemen ever, not just because they're paid, but, these guys train relentlessly. You would be amazed at what you have to go through to become a firefighter in the city of Pittsburgh.
Men and women.
It's unbelievable.
Men
the
and
training
women, Zach.
that they go through. Men and women, Levine, correct. There's girls out there on the fire truck, too.
Their lives are on the line every day.
But I look forward to tomorrow night, the Isoplex at South Point. Pinnacle's putting on a great show in the Cage.
Yeah.
After that, December 6th, it's Gladiators of the Cage down at Stage AE. So mark your calendar, Smoking Jim Frazier. We got cage
Marking
fighting
it right
coming.
now.
We got cage fighting galore coming up.
And that'll segue into what I have to with our locations. But yeah, go ahead and keep going. You got another minute or so.
To any Bethel Park football players that want to continue your football career and you're not going to a local college, give me a call. The Pittsburgh Gladiators would love to put you on a tryout.
Tell them your position again, because it get lost in a lot of the chatter here that we've had.
Well,
who are you?
I'm assistant head coach of the Pittsburgh Gladiators.
You want to change
And
your
I
hat
also-
so we know who you are?
I also have the distinction and the option, being my age and my physicality. I can
30
also,
years old,
I can also line up.
275.
I can also line up and play football, and I've been very instrumental in a lot of these practices and very hands-on these last couple weeks, getting these guys together.
In other words, he's been injured a couple times. He went against guys bigger and smaller than him, and he dominated everybody, if you need to know. And it's at Westfield.
And I'm still showing up for
And
work.
it's at Westfield, right near his house. He can actually walk there, and his mama bakes him something to eat every day when he goes over to play. So we got things like that happen.
I didn't know they had any gladiators in Homestead.
Well, you met one now to your left.
Can he read? Tell him to read the hat. Don't you tell him that?
Even though Levine's not a huge fan of gladiators, he's
Not
more,
yet.
He's
The
more of a-
negotiations are going on.
if they
We'll
were
see.
called the Vikings, we might be able to land them a lot this year.
If they were the Homestead Vikings, I would sign up right now.
Oh, the Iron Man.
No, I don't want any Iron Men because of Smoking Jim and his disrespect for Iron Men
And
in
they
Pittsburgh.
took KO to the woodshed in front of the City's dismay.
I won't be talking about my alma mater. They will be better next year, I was told by Coach Sig.
Well, Coach Sig, where those games take place against my alma mater, Still Valley, that's where the home of the Gladiators is going to be at Campbell Athletic Field in lovely Munhall, Pennsylvania.
Downtown Munhall.
Conveniently located, Levine. You got jokes.
I'm just adding a little bit there. I've been there. Well, you got to put that out there. Well, Z, you're in the sandbox with Smoking Jim, so we're going to be ending this show shortly. But I did want to try to clear up some confusion. People were getting confused when I put out some events on Facebook that were at Duke's on the 2nd and 4th week of the month, and then on the 1st of December, especially you guys there, because we had a huge argument at Duke's on December 1st. We're going to be at Atria's PNC Park. I'm honored to be there, and it's just a great opportunity. Jack Hunt, Johnny Angel and the Halos, I met him through Jessica Lee. John Gagetta, they're owners of Atria's. They're the main owners of the place in the 8 different locations. I've been going there. It's been around since 1930, and most people in Pittsburgh know of Atria's, the great food that they have. Now, They told me after they met me, and my guys know how I like to eat for free, and I talk a lot. So they ended up saying
While he's eating.
they ended up honoring me
not
with,
when he's eating hot wings.
would you mind? No, I got a little heated. But they said, we're going to create a burger for you. Would you mind? I go, no. They go, would you like to name a few things? So I did put 9 things on it, but you can build your own burger. I want to announce that. You don't have to eat the talking machine.
What's on it?
What's on it's lettuce, tomato,
What's on your mind?
pepper jack, provolone, marinara, avocado, a couple other
Avocado.
things, jalapenos. You got to have something healthy in there. I'm a health nut. Avocado's good. It's healthy oils, so you put that in. And there's 9 different things there. If I left out 1 or 2, I got interrupted on a rant.
And for dessert, you get the defibrillator.
Not yet. Not yet. I'm ready for the next water bucket challenge. No problem. I'm staying in shape for that.
We see that. We
So
see that.
we'll be there. But we're going to have some fun there. I got some great guests coming in, and it ties in with Gladiators of the Cage. I wanted to give a shout out to the Pittsburgh Sportsline Hall of Fame Gladiators of the Cage announcer Dan Bogan's going to be there. So we got people coming in. Donna Baxter's going to be there from Soul Pit. We got other people we're confirming each day. We have different local people and from local sports and businesses that supply things in our sports fans too. So come on out. It's a great room. When you see this room, Smoking Jim hasn't been there yet, and I don't know if Zach's been there. I don't know about Chip either, but it's just a great entertainment room. It's right there where the Roberto Clemente statue. I don't know if you guys remember that Susan Wagner we had on our show.
Yeah.
She's the one that sculpted the Roberto Clemente statue. I'm going to try to get her to appear for our show. I think that'd be pretty cool. But she's the one that made the statue of Stargell, Mazeroski, and those guys there. She's working on the statue for the dog, the police dog that was killed in action, Rocco. So check that out. She's working on that. And if we could get maybe an update on that. So I will be talking to you about it. Come on down. It's from 7:30 to 8:30. Apologize to Jack Hunt. Every 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock, Tuesday through Saturday night, guess what? We're on Verizon 32 and other times. So you can see us there. That's all over the Pittsburgh area. So what do you got, Chip?
That's all very, I just want to get this in before the show's over.
Okay.
You know how everybody's been calling for the Todd Haley to be fired, and we haven't mentioned anything about our Steelers.
Get rid of
I
him.
figured out how we can get Todd Haley fired. Okay, win the last 5 games. The Steelers will be 12-4. What happened the last time the Steelers were 12-4?
Arians.
They fired the offensive coordinator.
No,
I thought you were going to surprise me, throw a curveball, and say that somebody else was going to offer him more money to be a head coach.
No, here's what I was going to say, just what you're telling everybody. What will happen is I figured Big Ben and everybody else said, yeah, we truly are stat men, but if we can get stats and win games, bonus, and we can get rid of Haley, who should have never been here. I'm not on the get rid of the Haley bandwagon. It
Yes,
should have
you are.
never happened.
Yes.
I said he should have never been here. I didn't say you had to get rid of him. I said he should have never been hired. He's not that good. The players are good, and they're better because you're only as good as your players. My dad used to tell me, I don't care what coach you have, if the horses don't perform, you can't win a game. And that's the bottom line there.
Tiptoes
Come on,
on
look
money.
at it. So, I mean, that's what's going on. Thanks for watching our show. We have somebody in from the Tribune here. She's spying on us. We're not going to say our name, but she's checking out Public Access TV. We were the first live show in 9 years in Bethel Park. We've been doing it for 3 years, since October 11th, 2011. I like giving stats out. Thanks for watching our show. Be safe out there. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Eat more turkey. Don't stop.